Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 3 of the series on how to plan and book your Disney vacation. Today's part is going to be everything you need to know for planning your day at Magic Kingdom, including fast passes, what to fast pass, which rides you might want to go on, what order to do in it, what time to arrive, parades, fireworks, shows, and all of those different things together to make your perfect day at Magic Kingdom. If you haven't already watched the first 2 parts of this series, which are booking your Disney vacation and planning where to go on which day and booking your meals and different things like that, then make sure to go and check it out. I'll link it up here and let's just get straight into it. So if you haven't already, you need to go to the App Store or however it works on Android and download the My Disney Experience app. Now once you've downloaded it, you need to create an account. It can be anyone in the party that creates this account, it doesn't really matter, using an email and all that kind of thing, just a general account. Once you've done that, you need to add a profile for each person on your vacation. This does include everyone, children, adults, everyone that's going. If you want to link it all to one account, you can create a profile for every single person on your vacation. One thing you need to take into account is 180 days before your vacation, you need to start booking meals. Now I'm not going to go into much detail about this since it is in the previous video in this series, so you can check that out, but basically using the app you can book your meals 180 days before you go. So if you're staying on site, which this video is going to be very much geared towards people staying on site, I would say it might still be vaguely useful for people if you are staying off site, but this is only from my experience of staying on site. You can book your fast passes up to 60 days before you go on your vacation. Now I would say as soon as it hits that 60 days you need to get booking, because otherwise they will run out straight away. Especially some of the really popular ones, for example Peter Pan and the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. If you are logged into My Disney Experience though and it's before 60 days before, I'm pretty sure it does tell you when you reach that 60 days mark, and it says from say 11 or 12 p.m. or whatever time it goes live, depending on what time zone you're in, it will tell you when you can start booking. So as I've said multiple times before, when you book your fast passes you want to start at the end of your holiday and work your way backwards until the beginning of your holiday. The reason for doing this is because if people are staying off site they can only book one day at a time, or if they're only going for 1 week they won't be able to book for your second week until a week later. So start at the end of your holiday and work backwards to the beginning. Start with the most popular fast passes at the end, as you're more likely to be able to get them and at a better time. So if you're completely new to this, things you need to know about fast passes is you are allowed 3 fast passes every day, free of charge. They come included within your package. They do all have to be in the same park each day, so you couldn't do, for example, 2 fast passes for Magic Kingdom and then 1 for Animal Kingdom. They all have to be in the same park for the same day. Also, they can't overlap each other, so for example they last for an hour period, it might be 9 till 10, you can't get your next one until after 10 o'clock. So I think the best way to do it is to try and get 9 till 10, 10 till 11 and 11 till 12. Obviously it doesn't always work out that way, but that's probably the best way to do it. But you can't have one 9 till 10 and then half 9 till half 10. The first one has to be completely finished before you can book the second one. And remember, if you're going more than once you will have more opportunities to fast pass, so don't think that you need to make sure you cram all your important fast passes into one day. If for example the first day that you book, it might be the last day of your holiday, you manage to get the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain and Jungle Cruise, then maybe the other day that you're going that's earlier on in your vacation you could get Peter Pan's Flight, Big Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain. A really good thing about the fast passes at Walt Disney World is that once you've used your 3rd fast pass you can then book another one. So if you're thinking, well I really want to go on It's a Small World but I don't want to use up one of my fast passes, I would say definitely you can get on it early in the morning, which I'll talk about later with a short queue. But once you've used up your 3 fast passes they then allow you to book 1 more, and every time that you use that one you can book another one. So you can actually get a lot of fast passes in one day if you plan it smartly. But definitely these 60 days before fast passes, choose the most popular rides as they will run out. So I'll just quickly walk through how to actually book your fast passes. You are going to head to the My Disney Experience app. You're going to press the plus button at the bottom of the screen and it pops up with Get Fast Pass Plus. Once you click on that, you want to add whoever in your party wants to go on that ride. Now one thing to remember is not everyone has to have the same fast passes. So for example, if there's 2 teenagers who want to go on Splash Mountain, but maybe an adult and a younger child want to head on Peter Pan's Flight, you can book separate fast passes. So you want to select all the people that would like to go on that fast pass, select the date that you want it for and which park. Make sure that you do this correctly according to other plans you may already have, such as meals. You then want to go go for the ride that you want. Remember, earlier is better, so if you can get one early in the morning, that's the best way to do it, as then you can unlock more throughout the day. Press confirm and it saves it for you to the app, so you don't need to remember, you don't need to write it down. If you head back onto the app after this, it will then display your fast passes for you and show you which ones you have. Another thing to think when you're booking your fast passes is to try and get them all in the same area. So for example, if you're going on multiple days but you know which fast passes you want all together, you might want to plan, for example, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain and Haunted Mansion all in the same day, since they're all near each other in the park, which will bring down the amount of walking you have to do, especially if you have really young children or older people that struggle to walk as far, or, you know, obviously people with injuries or different things like that. It makes your life a lot easier if you try and plan to have things in the same area. So I'm just going to walk through which of the fast passes I think could be worth doing. Now obviously it completely depends on your party. If you have young children, this might be very different, or if you don't like the roller coasters or anything like that, but I think these are the ones that get the biggest queues. They're most worth fast passing. So Big Thunder Mountain, Buzz Lightyear Ranger Spin, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Tomorrowland Speedway and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Now you also can fast pass to meet the characters, so if you're with people that particularly enjoy meeting the characters, you can also fast pass a time for some of the characters too, which is really cool. One really important thing to think about is for Fantasyland, you can fast pass a lot of the rides, but if you go in extra magic hours, especially if it's the ones in the morning, you can get so much done out of the Fantasyland rides. Usually we can get the entirety of Fantasyland done in extra magic hours or just a little bit longer than that. Even if you miss extra magic hours, or for example you're not staying on site, you can still get most of these rides done in less than half an hour wait, rather than some of the other rides such as Peter Pan's Flight, even though that is actually classed as being in Fantasyland, that can get up to a 2-hour wait sometimes. So you really need to think about not necessarily how good the ride is, but how big the wait gets. You can also check this on the app, and you can check it every day if you like. I'll put it up on the screen, but basically if you head to the app and press the small like map button, I'll show it so it's a bit easier to tell. You can then zoom out and it has the entire map of the parks, and it tells you which rides have how long of a wait time, which can give you a really good idea of how long you might be waiting or which ones are better to fast pass. So now that you've booked or hopefully decided on which fast passes you're going to go for, you need to consider which other rides you want to go on. If you're there for 3 days, I would say most likely you could probably do everything at Magic Kingdom, but maybe if you're only there for a week and you can only manage to go once or twice, then you might have to prioritize which things you specifically want to do more than others. If you head to disneyworld.go.com, this is the official Walt Disney World website, you can find all the rides, attractions, shows, entertainment and different things inside the parks. If you head to Parks and Ticket, you can then go to attractions, and it gives you a really long list of all the different things. Now at the top of the screen there's a bar and it says attractions in there. If you click on that, it gives you all the other options such as entertainment, shows, shopping, dining, and all the different things you can do at the parks. So check that out if you want to know all the different things you can do. This also will tell you, if you put in the date that you're going, whether the rides may be closed or unavailable on the days you're going, just so you can make sure if there's one you specifically want to go on. I would say it's probably going to be shut for your entire vacation, but there is a small chance that it could shut halfway through. For example, when we went this time, Test Track at Epcot, it closed 2 days before we left, so we made sure to do it at the beginning of our vacation. Now when you're planning out your day, I would say it's definitely not going to go to plan. If you have a vague idea of what you want to get done, it does make it a lot easier and things run a lot more smoothly, especially if you have a lot of people and somebody's saying I want to go here, I want to go here. If you have it written down, then you can say, right, this is what we're doing, and it can change, but this is what we're going to try and stick to so that we don't have disagreements. And it's worked a treat for us in the past. We never really fall out that much, which is pretty spectacular. I would say to leave around 40 minutes per ride. Now obviously depending on what it is, you can check the time on the app that I just explained, but obviously if you have a lunch reservation, if it's less than 40 minutes, I would say definitely leave it, just in case. For example, even if the ride has, let's say, a 15 to 20 minute queue, sometimes it hasn't been updated in a little while, so it might take more like half an hour. You also need to consider the actual ride times that it takes. The ride sometimes breaks and you could get trapped in the queue, and also the time that it takes to walk to and from the ride into the restaurant and things like that. Now in extra magic hours, if you go super early, you can usually get a ride done in 10 minutes or less, which is why we can usually get most of Fantasyland done during the extra magic hours. Now I know I've mentioned this quite a lot, but as I say, Fantasyland is definitely your best bet for extra magic hours, since not all of the areas of the park are open during this time. Sometimes you can sneak off to, I think, Space Mountain or some of the other rides, but not all the rides open early, and most of the queues stay more constant rather than Fantasyland can be literally walk onto the ride compared to a half an hour wait later in the day. So that's probably the best use of your time if you want to go on all the Fantasyland rides. Now remember, when planning out your day, you need to make sure that you leave time for the parades, the shows, the fireworks, and different things going on that are at set times. So you can check out the program, but unfortunately these only come out about a week before the actual time. But if it's in a similar season, usually it doesn't change too much, so you could check out the current one, maybe even if it's a few weeks before you go, and it might be similar to what you're going to get, and it means you get an idea of what it's going to be like. Also, you need to remember, as I've said, these things will probably change. Make sure you leave a bit of wiggle room just in case. You don't want to plan a fast pass that starts 10 minutes before your lunch reservation, because you probably won't make it. And also remember that the fast pass doesn't mean there's no wait at all. Sometimes if it's a really popular ride, the fast pass queue can still be maybe 10, 15, even 20-minute wait. And even if you're not going for a dining reservation, remember you still need to eat, so make sure you leave some time out of your day to go for a meal, even if you're just picking something up quickly. Another piece of advice that I would strongly recommend is to make sure that you watch the parades, the fireworks and the shows as early on in your vacation as you can. Now I say this because depending on what the weather's going to be like, they can cancel them. So for example, if it's windy, Tinkerbell won't fly during the nighttime spectacular, and often if it's rainy, the parade or the fireworks might get cancelled. We actually have experience of this happening. It was in Disneyland Paris, but I'm sure it all works the same. So when we went to Disneyland Paris, we were there for 2 nights, and on our first night we planned to not go and see the fireworks. We were going to go on our second night, but something just told us, right, let's just go watch it just in case. We might as well. We weren't doing anything much else, so we went to watch it. I'd seen it a lot of times before, but I had taken some of my friends who had never been before, so I really wanted to make sure that they could see it. So we went and watched it, and it was really good on the first night. But we went back the second night, it was the exact same time, exact same show, and there were no fireworks, and that's because of the rain. They couldn't put the fireworks on. So if we hadn't have gone to watch it on that first night, we wouldn't have been able to see the proper full show, and obviously without the fireworks it's not as good. So that's why I would always say make sure to go and watch the shows and the fireworks, especially if you've seen the weather and it's not looking great for the time that you're there. It means you'll have a lot bigger chance of being able to watch them. Another thing to think about is if rides do get shut down and you have a fast pass, they will usually let you on for the rest of the day if it reopens during that day, which is really good. And same for other rides. If you've joined a queue for a ride and they've closed it and sent you out of the queue, they will usually give you a token and you can come back at any time during that day. So I would say if you have a really absolute favorite ride that you want to get on, try and go as early as possible just in case it breaks down or anything, and then you have more of a guarantee that you'll be able to get on it that day. Now of course, you're in Walt Disney World, you need to leave yourself some time to go in all the souvenir shops and all the different places like that, especially with being in Magic Kingdom. You can head down Main Street USA and there's so many shops to go in, so many things to see. So make sure you leave some time out of one of your days at Magic Kingdom to head to some of the shops on Main Street USA and throughout the rest of the parks, because there's some really cool stuff to see there as well. And remember, if you're heading there with somebody who maybe can't last from rope drop to fireworks, leave a bit of time in your day so you can head back to your hotel for a nap. We often do this if we're heading there for 2 weeks. We might come back and edit, or if I have uni work to do, I can get on with that throughout the day. And it means we usually would stay in the parks till maybe 2 or 3 o'clock, maybe watch the parade, head back, and then just come back for a couple of rides and the fireworks in the evening. And it usually works so well for us. So once you've thought about all these things, I would recommend to pencil it into maybe a diary or a notebook. And then as your vacation gets closer, you can obviously chop it and change it around. And then usually what we would do is take a photo of the piece of paper on our phones, and as we head around the park, we can have a look at it and try and stick to it as best we can. And usually it completely doesn't go to plan, but at least you know you can tick off the things when you've done them and make sure that you try and get everything you want to done. Rather than if you randomly go willy-nilly just trying to get on things, you'll definitely miss things out. There's so many attractions and shows and things at the Magic Kingdom, so it's really important to plan these things out. So that's it. That's all you need to know as far as I'm aware. If I have missed anything, leave it in the comments, but that's all I can think of how to plan the perfect day at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can watch the rest of this series and any of my other videos, which are uploaded every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at 7 PM UK time. And I'll see you next time. Bye!